All right, everyone, let's dive into a topic that might not sound like the most thrilling thing in the world,
Yeah,
but it's something we all got to think about at some point.
right.
Life insurance.
Uh-huh.
Specifically, we're going deep on how having a history of skin cancer can impact getting coverage.
Absolutely.
We're working with some really helpful information from diversified insurance brokers, and honestly, it's way more interesting than you might think.
Oh, for sure.
First bit of good news, a lot of people with a history of skin cancer, they can totally still get life insurance.
Exactly. And that's what we're all about today, breaking it down so you can make informed decisions.
Totally. So let's be real for a second.
Okay.
This topic can make some people a little anxious.
Yeah, I get that.
Totally understandable. But like knowing the facts is the best way to deal with that.
100%. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to finances.
For sure. For example, knowing the different types of skin cancer can make a huge difference.
You're so right. There's basal cell, squamous cell, and then there's melanoma.
Right.
And insurance companies look at each one differently.
Okay, so let's break those down a bit.
Okay.
Starting with basal cell and squamous cell.
Perfect. So those two, basal and squamous cell carcinomas, they're super common and really treatable.
Okay?
Like if you've had either of those and it was caught early and treated, you're usually looking at standard or even preferred rates for life insurance.
Wow. Okay, so it's not necessarily a deal breaker.
Not at all. It's like a little speed bump, not a roadblock.
That's really good to know. What about melanoma, though?
Yeah,
That one has a bit more of a serious reputation.
that's true. Insurers tend to be more cautious with melanoma because it can spread.
Right, and that's where the whole staging and grading thing comes in, right?
Exactly.
You mentioned those terms before.
I did.
Could you refresh our memory on what those actually mean?
Absolutely. So staging, think of it like a map showing where the melanoma is and how far it might have spread.
Okay.
And grading is more about the cells themselves, like how aggressive they look under a microscope.
Got it. So how does all that actually affect life insurance rates then?
Okay, so let's say someone had stage 1 melanoma 5 years ago and they've been cancer-free since.
Okay.
They might have slightly higher premiums than someone with no history, but they'll probably still qualify for a fully underwritten policy.
Okay.
But when you get to stage 3 or 4 melanoma, things can change.
Right.
The insurer is going to look at things like how recent the diagnosis was, what treatments were used, and the overall prognosis.
So it really depends on the individual situation.
It really does.
But what happens if someone with a more serious melanoma history is having trouble getting that traditional coverage?
Yeah.
Are there other options out there for them?
There are, for sure. There are policies designed specifically for people who might not qualify for the traditional life insurance.
Okay.
One option is simplified issue life insurance. It usually doesn't require a medical exam, but you'll answer questions about your health history.
Okay, so it's kind of like a middle ground then.
Exactly.
Got it.
And then there's guaranteed issue life insurance.
Okay.
This one tends to be more expensive, but like the name says, you're guaranteed approval regardless of your health history.
Wow, that sounds almost too good to be true.
It does.
What's the catch?
Well, guaranteed issue policies often come with something called graded death benefits.
Oh, is that?
This means that if you pass away within the first few years of the policy, your beneficiaries might only receive a portion of the full death benefit.
Oh, I see.
It's kind of like a waiting period.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So just to recap, we've got the fully underwritten policies with the best rates, but stricter requirements. Then there's simplified issue, which is a good middle ground, and then guaranteed issue as a safety net for those who need coverage no matter what.
You nailed it.
So it's about finding what works for you.
Absolutely.
Now, I know this might feel like a lot of info,
Right.
but remember, understanding all this gives you the power to make informed decisions. You're not just walking in blind. You can ask the right questions, explore your options, and make choices that work for you.
Exactly. This knowledge also helps you have those important conversations with your doctor about your health and your financial planning.
So important. And speaking of conversations, we've really just scratched the surface here.
We have...
If you're feeling overwhelmed or have specific questions, an experienced insurance broker can be a lifesaver. They know all the ins and outs and can guide you to the best solution.
100%. Don't hesitate to reach out for that personalized help. It's about taking charge of your future.
We've gone deep on life insurance and skin cancer.
Yep,
And hopefully we've made it a little less confusing.
I hope so.
But your journey doesn't stop here. Keep researching, keep asking those questions, and remember your health and your future are worth it.
Absolutely.
Until next time, take care, everyone.